Welcome to this week's edition of the Purpose, Value, and Meaning Webclass. Tonight's topic is how having confidence helps you live with purpose. I'm Keisha Golder, and I help women define their unique purpose so they can live a life they created on their own terms. I also created the Your Life Purpose Makeover Journey, which is a 3-stage, 9-step program designed to get you from where you are currently to where you want to be. And in between, we work on gaining confidence, developing the skills and talents that you need to get to where you want to be, and breaking generational things like belief systems and developing our core values. So I want to take a second to remind everyone that there will be a question and answer section towards the end of the presentation. So if you can hold all questions until then, it will be greatly appreciated. As always, before we jump into tonight's topic, we are going to recap what we spoke about last week. Last week, we talked about how self-sabotaging affects us. In order to discuss that, we needed to know what self-sabotaging was, what it looked like, because there are several types of self-sabotaging methods that people use, and of course, how we can stop self-sabotaging. So tonight, we are talking about how self-confidence can help us live in our purpose. In order to do that, we need to know what self-confidence is, as well as the different types of self-confidence. We also need to know why having self-confidence is important. And we need to know how we can gain self-confidence if we are lacking or we just want to gain more. So let's jump right on in. What is self-confidence? Self-confidence is simply the confidence you have in yourself. It refers to how much you believe in yourself. It also refers to appreciating all of the qualities that you have and believing that you are worthy of all of the good things that life has to offer. Self-confidence cannot be measured against someone else because, again, it's the amount of confidence that you have in yourself. So you cannot measure it against anyone else because self-confidence is going to be what it is going to be for another person. Now, there are a couple types of self-confidence that I want to talk about tonight. Those types are unwarranted confidence, pasted on confidence, already done it confidence, and effort will lead to results confidence. So the unwarranted confidence is what we would refer to as being cocky or arrogant. This type of confidence comes from a person who underestimates their opponents or a task that they have on hand to do, and they overestimate their abilities. Think about how many times you may have encountered someone who told you that they were great at doing a particular thing. And then when you recruited them to do this thing for you, you were not satisfied with the results. That is an example. And the reason you weren't satisfied with the results is because it wasn't what it was supposed to have given, and that is the perfect example of unwarranted confidence. You go around saying you got this, you can do this, you know how to do it, when truth be told, you've never even experienced it before. So you don't know how to do it, you don't have it, and you really could use help. The second type of confidence is pasted on confidence. This is the confidence that can arise simply because the confidence that we have is only skin deep. My apologies. Yeah, it's only skin deep. It's only on the surface. It's not deep down within our souls and our beings. It hasn't been embedded into us. It's basically You paste it on, just like when you paste something to a piece of paper, it's pasted on. And if some, wear and tears, it gets wet, something comes along and can rip it, it comes off. This is the confidence that most people can equate to repeating affirmations. And please don't get me wrong, I love affirmations, but affirmations are only as good as the person who honestly believes in what they are saying, and not just believing in what they are saying, but also connecting to the words as they come out. And so they feel them, they really connect with them, and they breathe them, live them, eat them. That is why just repeating affirmations results in pasted on confidence, because it feels good while you're saying it. It looks good while you're saying it, but you're not living it. You're not breathing it. You're not eating it. You're not feeling it. So the minute you stop saying the affirmation, the minute you stop looking at yourself in the mirror while you're saying the affirmation, is the minute that that confidence that comes from the affirmation disappears. The next type is the I've already done it confidence. I'm quite sure we have all been there at one point or another, where we've done a task. We did the task fairly well. We continue to do the task. We get better at doing the task. And we feel like, oh, I've already done it. I don't need you to tell me how to do it anymore. Okay, but here's the thing. You're not learning anything from doing the task. You're memorizing, or you have memorized how to perform the task, which results in you becoming good at the task and being able to perform it without instructions anymore. That type of confidence is not as good as everyone likes to believe. A lot of people like to believe that this is the most authentic type of confidence, but truth be told, it's not, because you are not learning, you're not growing, you're not developing from this. You just memorize something and you continuously repeat the same thing that you memorized. The last type of confidence that I'm talking about is effort will lead to results confidence. This is my personal favorite, because this is the type of confidence that you gain from putting in the work. So it's something that you've never done. You learn how to do it. And each time that you are confronted with having to do something, you are learning from it. You are growing. So the first time that I do a task, I don't know how to do it, but I'm learning how to do it. So it's not so great. The next time that I go to perform that task, I know how to do it, which is where the I've already done it confidence comes in, but I'm learning more to get me to be efficient with doing this task. And the more you do the task, the more work you put in to figure out more easier ways for you to get the things done. You're going to figure out better ways for you to maybe incorporate something else. So that's what the efforts will lead to results confidence is. This is where you have no idea how to do something. You had no idea at all, but you kept doing it. And every time you did the task, you grew from it, you learned, and eventually you mastered the task. So without you putting the effort in, you would have never been able to master the task. This is the most authentic type of confidence, because you know that you have done the work. You have slaved over, you have poured over, you have given everything of yourself to be able to make sure that whatever it is that needed to be done was done. And you literally put in the work to get it done. And you're proud of your efforts and you're proud of the end product. So these are the different types of confidence. Now, what are some causes of low self-confidence? The first cause of low self-confidence is comparison to others. I'm sure that some of us have been in situations where our family, our friends, help, even ourselves, have taken the time to compare ourselves to other people. This type of situation makes you feel like you are no good, like you can't do anything right. And it creates you to have it creates you to have low self-confidence or lose the confidence that you have when you're constantly being compared to someone else and saying, well, you're not doing it like they're doing it. Why does she do it that way and you do it this way? I like the way she does it better. That it puts you in a position where you second guess yourself, where you're not sure. You become unsure and unstable in the things that you are doing. So that is the first type or the first cause of low self-confidence. The second cause of low self-confidence can be child abuse and punishment. Abuse comes in many different forms. It can come in physical and mental abuse. And sometimes when we are abused as children, the effects of the abuse lingers on into adulthood, especially if it is not dealt with. When we are abused continuously, we feel that we deserve the punishment, even if we don't. And no one deserves to be abused. Let me please allow me to make that clear. No one deserves to be abused. But your mindset, when you are constantly abused, sometimes you go into the place where I did something to deserve this. I deserve to be punished. No one ever deserves that. So this can cause you to have low self-confidence because you're not being treated in a loving manner. Your needs are not being met. You're actually being taken advantage of in the worst possible ways. So you don't know how to feel confident in situations because you're so used to people taking from you and treating you poorly. The third cause of low self-confidence is excessive criticism. This is where you are constantly being reminded that you are worthless and inadequate. There's no specific group of people that do this. You may encounter it in every friend group, family group, whatever. But you are always criticized for everything you do. Why do you do your hair like that? Why do your shoes look like that? Why are you wearing those pants? These are all things that can affect your self-confidence. So the last one is negligence. Negligence is when we are in an environment that causes us to be starved for attention, love, and just all around good feelings. When these basic needs are not met, it creates negligence, which creates loneliness and issues of insecurity and abandonment. If you have ever encountered anyone who has suffered through negligence, you know that there is no self-confidence because they are so used to, for lack of a better term, people treating them like they don't matter, like they can be tossed aside like a rag doll at a minute's drop. So these are all situations and things that can cause low self-esteem and low self-confidence. So why is having self-confidence so important? Here are some of the reasons having self-confidence is important. It gives you a greater sense of achievement. When you have high self-confidence, it makes you feel confident enough to speak out against people doing you wrongly or unfairly, as well as sometimes you have the courage to not only speak out for yourself, speak out for others. And you also know the journey that you had to take to get to where you are, because we aren't just these well-versed, self-healed individuals. We don't start out this way. We start at point A and we take that journey till we get to be these self-healed, pronounced individuals. So when you have self-confidence, you take great pride in your journey. You take great pride in knowing that I worked to get to where I am now. And I refuse to let anyone take that away from me. Personal growth is also why self-confidence is important. When you are committed to the process of personal growth and development, you know that there is always a better version of yourself out there. Your goal every day is to be better than the day. My apologies. Your goal is to be better than you were the day before. So you are constantly making sure that you are doing things that can help you continue to grow, continue to develop, and continue to be the best version of yourself. Not for anyone else, but for you. Self-confidence also helps you achieve goals. Think about it. If you're lacking confidence, you lack the drive to go after the things that you want. When you have self-confidence, you have the belief in yourself that you're able to accomplish things that you would not have tried to accomplish before. So you know that you can achieve these things. You set the goals for yourself and you set out on the path to make those goals turn into reality for yourself. Self-confidence makes you positive. Now, when I say make you positive, let's just say this, that we are all humans. We all have our moments, but you no longer live in a place of negativity where your every thought is something negative, that your every response is something negative. You change your mindset. And once you change your mindset, everything else really follows. So your mindset becomes a positive mindset where you know that there's a reason for things happening. You know that if something bad happens or something that is looked at as bad happens, there's a reason that it's happening. Either it is happening to teach you a lesson, to show you the things that you don't want, whatever the case may be, it is a reason that is happening. And that reason is for you to continue to grow. And one of the last ways that having self-confidence is important is because you can create better relationships with people. You know what you want. You know what you're willing to do to get what you want, and you know what you are not going to accept. So when you're able to communicate your needs and your thoughts, you're no longer surrounding yourself with people who have negative energy and just want to completely take from you. You are putting yourself in positions to be around people who pour into you just as much as you pour into them. They encourage you just as much as you encourage them. The relationships that you are putting yourself in when you have self-confidence are beneficial for all parties involved. So self-confidence is important to our overall life, our overall being. There are some additional benefits to having self-confidence. More peace of mind and less stress. That is something I know all of us have said at one point or another. I want peace of mind and I want less stress. You have more energy and of course you are motivated to act on the things that you want to do. You get better sleep and better sleep results in better health. You have greater success. You're able to see the picture clearly, which helps you create a clear path to get to what you want. And you become free from self-doubt. You have the confidence to achieve everything that you want. You know what you want. You know the path that you need to take to get there. You know that you may need to work with someone else who's going to hold you accountable, like a mentor or a coach. You know these things. So you no longer doubt your abilities. You no longer doubt whether or not your dreams can come true. You just work to make sure that they do. Now, how can we gain self-confidence? Whether we don't have self-confidence or we need to level up a little bit. Here are some ways we can gain self-confidence. You turn comparison into curiosity. So when you lack self-confidence, you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. We're not going to compare ourselves to other people anymore. Do you know who we are going to compare ourselves to? We're comparing ourselves to us. I'm going to compare myself to me every day. And instead of saying, well, Sheila from across the street did X, Y, and Z, and I only did X, I'm going to create a game. Keisha, yesterday you only did X. Today, we're going to see if we could do X and Y. And if we finish X and Y in a timely manner, why not see how much of Z we can complete? Create a game for yourself so that you are challenging yourself daily to become a better version of yourself, to look at things differently, to say, this is what I want. I can't worry about other people. I know we've seen from the Olympics a couple years ago, it was a picture of Michael Phelps and the other guy that he was competing against in the Olympics. And the guy kept looking into the other lane instead of focusing on the target. That's what comparing yourself to other people, you lose focus. We're not trying to lose focus. We're trying to gain confidence so that we can be focused at all times on getting us to that life that we want to live and living it on our own terms. Another thing that you can do to increase your self-confidence is to increase your self-praise. Stop waiting for others to tell you that you did a good job. Stop waiting for others to tell you that you're beautiful. Stop waiting for others to give you the compliments that you should be giving yourself. These compliments increase your vibration, which when you increase your vibration, your stress decreases. So talk to yourself positively. Quit the negative thoughts, the negative self-talk. Replace that with positive self-talk. Even in moments where you don't feel like it, those are the moments that you need it the most. Love on yourself, because here's the thing, and I know I said it before, the relationship that you have with yourself determines all other relationships in your life. So if you are constantly talking down to yourself, chances are you're going to have other people do the same thing because they constantly see you do it. We're going to reverse that. We are going to constantly praise ourselves, not because you need the praisal of anyone else, but because you know your worth and you know that your relationship with you is the best relationship that you can have. Another way that we can gain self-confidence is to quickly forgive ourselves for our past failures. And you're probably like, why is she emphasizing quickly? Here's the thing. We forgive ourselves, but sometimes it takes us so long to forgive ourselves that we have lived in the trauma or whatever the situation is that we need to forgive ourselves for far too long. And we've become attached to it. So it becomes harder for us to break free from the limiting beliefs. It becomes harder for us to see that our core values are no longer aligned. It becomes harder for us to know exactly who we are because we've sat with these past failures and these past situations that did not work out for far too long. When something happens, it happens. Take your time, no longer than 5 minutes. I honestly would like to say 2. Feel it, live in it, forgive yourself for it. Dwelling on it is not going to change what happened. We are human. We are allowed to make mistakes. Forgive yourself and move on to continue to be the best version of who you are. If we never made mistakes, there would never be any opportunities for us to learn and grow, which is the important part of your journey throughout this thing called life, is that you're learning and you're continuously growing and you are becoming the best version of yourself each and every day. Now, the 4th way that you can gain self-confidence is to use your imagination. What does imagination have to do with gaining self-confidence? This is what you are going to do. You're going to think about the time that you felt super confident, whether it was the time you dressed up and had heels and had your makeup professionally done, your hair done, got a nice suit, and you had a nice fresh cut, and you were clean shaven. Whatever that looks like for you, you're going to bring it up in your mind. And you're going to connect your feelings with that moment. What made you feel confident in that moment? Why is it only reserved for that moment? And how can you bring those confident feelings into your everyday life? Not saying that you need to get up 5:30 in the morning and put on a full face of makeup. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's going to look different for everyone. But in order for you to be able to figure that out, you need to connect to a time where you were super confident in yourself. And you need to feel how it felt so that you're able to recall those feelings when you need confidence in yourself. Something that I really would like for you to remember is that self-confidence shows without you having to say a word. People are going to know you are confident by the way that you carry yourself before you even open your mouth. So, at this time, if anyone has any questions, feel free to type it in the chat box or unmute yourself so that you can ask, and I will more gladly answer the questions for you. Okay, so let's keep in touch. You should know by now where to find me, and if you're new here, welcome, and this is where you can find me. You can find me at Facebook. On Facebook at KeishaGolder.com. You can find me on Facebook at Coach Keisha Golder. You can find me on my website at KeishaGolder.com. There you can interact with me. You can view past web classes. You can read blog posts. You can comment things that you would like for me to talk about as it pertains to purpose, value, and meaning. You can also go onto my YouTube, which is Keisha Golder, and of course, LinkedIn, which is Keisha Golder. Next week, we are talking about, are you surviving or are you living? And this relates to life purpose or life in general, because if we are surviving, we're disconnected from a lot of things. So next week's web class is, are you surviving or living? My life purpose makeover journey, 3-stage, 9-step program. In this class alone, I cover the entire first stage, which is knowing me, where you want to be and who you are, your core values, your belief system. All of these things play a part in you having confidence. And if those 3 things are not where they need to be, or you have things that you need to work out in those stages, then you're not going to have it. And that's when you reach out to a coach or someone like a coach or a mentor. And they can help you through the process of figuring out what your core values are supposed to look like, figuring out your belief system and what is keeping you from having the confidence that you need to have in yourself. Because remember, we're not relying on anyone else to be confident for us. So we're going to do it ourselves. And who are you really? Where do you want to be? What's holding you back? Because you need to know what's holding you back so that you can progress to where you want to be. Everyone is not going to need every step on this roadmap, but in order for me to be able to help you or figure out where you need help at, of course we need to talk. So if you would love to talk to me about anything on this roadmap or anything else that you may not see on this roadmap, but you think it's an issue for you, feel free to go to my website, KeishaGolder.com/let's talk. and you can book a consultation with me for free for 30 minutes, and we can see how we can work together to help you overcome the things that are holding you back. I thank you all for joining me tonight, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a good evening.